and Buddha points out the way to achieve it. So this is actually two sets of causes and effects. And the whole purpose is, again, to address a problem that we all solve. And in the Buddha's eyes, in the Buddha's teachings, the fundamental problem that we all face is suffering. So Buddha wanted to solve the problem of suffering. Actually, if we look at this in our everyday life, from the moment we are awake, to the time we sleep, we are trying to solve problems day in and day out. So sometimes we are in a problem, we don't even realize that we are in a problem. And if we know that there is an issues or there is some problems that we need to address, we will want to quickly identify the problem. So once we identify the problem, we will then come up with ways to solve the problem. Again, this is the problem-solving skills. So again, if we borrow this from the Buddha's first teachings of the Four Noble Truths, is about identifying the causes as well as to establish what is the desired outcomes that we want to see. So that brings us to the last point, which is the outcome. So of course, whenever there's a problem, the outcomes may not be always the most perfect solution, but we want to come up with the outcomes that has the minimal impact to everyone that is involved. So the problem-solving process becomes very, very important. And if we compare Buddha's teachings as well as the problem-solving that we do, so Buddha, again, problem-solve, the problem that he identified is dukkha. For us, as an ordinary human being, we identify problems of all sorts. So regardless, the challenge here is, are we able to solve the problems at the roots? So secular approach. If I don't have money, I go and work. That is a quick solution. Some people, they can't find a job, they will find other solutions. Again, what they are trying to do is purely to address the issue that they have on hand, without much consideration into the longer-term repercussions. However, Buddha, when he approached the issues, for example, the issues of sufferings, he actually tried to address the issues at the roots, which is, what is the root cause of it? So, if we further break it down, it's really about the work of our mind, our greed, our hatred, our ignorance, the three poisons. So it's really about this very strong attachment that we all have. So if the mind and rupa is not able to disassociate, it becomes very difficult for us to truly understand the core teachings of the Buddha. And that is why Buddha spent his entire life giving this teaching, trying all ways and all methods to teach us to realize this. So if we are going to pull this out from the interest-based mediation that we have learned in class, one of the things that we talk about is really position and interest. So if we go back to this secular approach, I have a problem, I want to solve the problem, and that is the position that I hold. So that is why very often when two people are in a conflict, it is the position that they're fighting. However, if we want to address problems at its roots, we need to change this approach. We need to bring them away from the position and try to address the underlying interest here. So the whole idea in my learning, especially in this module, I noticed this. Even in mediation, especially in the interest-based mediation, the whole idea is we want to move away from the secular approach and we want to take a very wise an approach that has wisdom in it, and that is we want to address the emotional needs of everyone. So a quick sum up. Mediation or negotiation takes place only when there are some conflicts. Conflicts is a kind of problem, and problem solving is something very common in our daily lives. Be it as a Buddhist, as a practitioner, or as a ordinary secular person, who have to make a living, by going to work, who have to study. Everyone technically is problem solving every day. So whatever we do when we see an issue, instead of preparing in the long run when the problem pops up, we want to quickly address the issue. We become very reactive to problems. And, if we tend to be very reactive to a problem, okay, what I actually present, especially in mediation situation, it is actually a position that I want to stick to. So it doesn't truly identify the root causes of the issues. In fact, it may create more tensions. So when we compare these commonalities, the commonalities that we draw out from here is that, yes, everyone is trying to problem solve. Everyone has the ability to identify the causes. However, not everyone is able to see the different levels of concern that the parties have. So therefore, with the whole issue of everyone has their own different concerns, their different levels of concerns, so the approach becomes important. So what exactly is that approach? So I'm going to use this again as an example. So very often, when we are caught in this situation, someone has a very strong position, or rather in a conflict resolution, in a mediation, party A and party B, they have very strong positions, and no one is willing to give in. So we need to, in a way, twist their arms so that they are able to see eye to eye on something that is more than just position, or something that is beyond position. And to do that, okay, the mediator requires this called the skillful means. Because without skillful means, without the wisdom, it is almost impossible for two people to be willing to enter mediation, or to even willing to begin talking about the problems or the issues that they're facing. So skillful means is something very, very important. And skillful means is something that is oftenly cited in the Mahayana Buddhism. The whole idea is this upaya vasalya, the skillful means, is about a choice and the liberty to approach the same problem differently. So back to the example of the mediation that we are learning. It takes a lot of experience as well as a lot of wisdom, and of course skillful means, to allow or to bring the parties in disputes into a consensus, to be willing to enter this mediation. So this is actually very important, and what is actually used or applied is actually the skillful means of the mediator. So in the Mahayana Buddhist context, skillful means refers to an enlightened person's ability to tailor their message or to tailor the approach to very specific audience. So different people with very different needs, they must be able to wisely and correctly pinpoint, what exactly they are troubled with. So in the case of a mediator, when the mediator begins this mediation process, very, very skillfully, the mediator actually shifts from the position that the two parties are facing or holding on to very strongly, through questionings, through interviews, through talking, through conversations. It is he or she would then be able to discover the underlying interest that they are working or trying to come to an agreement with. So that reconciliation, it's not about the position, it's really, really about the interest behind. So a good, skillful mediator or negotiator would be able to very quickly identify the underlying interest. However, if the mediator or the negotiator is not or does not have the skillful means, no matter how many questions he or she asks, he or she will not be able to correctly pinpoint the underlying interest that they have. So, in fact, during this, what we call the mediation process, we are able to see that the mediator has already begun using the various skillful means, through question and answering technique, for example, through interviewing. That is what has already been taking place. So that is approach. Now, so in fact, if we look at the course materials which Ajahn has taught us, Ajahn shared with us about the different theories to the conflict resolution, as well as the different conflict styles. Actually, this different conflict resolution models is to give us an overview of what are the kinds of conflicts. If we are able to identify the tendency of the parties involved, we will then be able to activate the right questions so that we are able to quickly identify the underlying interest that the party have in their mind. So regardless whether someone, who choose to avoid a conflict or someone who wants to fight a conflict, a good mediator would be able to, through skillful ways of asking or skillful ways of questioning, to identify the interests that the parties have. Now, again, if we look at the elements of the interest-based mediation, so for example, interest versus positions, identifying the various options, the criteria, alternatives, everything, all these several elements are actually skillful means, okay, to ensure a holistic and as well as a wholesome conflict resolution. So this, of course, is we arrived to this several elements of interest-based mediation is through many, many years of research, many years of experiences, as well as the combined effort of everyone involved to able to come up with this. So although we may know there's several elements of interest-based mediation, but it doesn't mean that everyone would then therefore be equipped with the skillful means to do a good mediation. Because the skillful means needs time it's like practice. We need time to begin, to get into that habit, and then slowly over time, we become more skillful, we become more experienced at it. So skillful means is not about, offering a quick solution, for example, by telling a white lie. That is not a skillful means. Skillful means is a very, very intentional approach, of course, without the intention to cause any further tension or escalation of the problem. So that's why a skillful means in the Mahayana context, it's actually the ability of an enlightened person. So, of course, we are not there yet, okay? But of course, we understand, as Buddhist saints like the Buddha or the Arhantas, they are certain qualities that they behold, and they have the precepts that they will abide to. They will never compromise on those in order to reach out to the specific audience. So let's us not confuse skillful means with the very quick worldly solutions. Quick worldly solutions are not necessarily skillful means. So again, if we work on this, then we will have to deal with this question: what exactly is then the conventional approach and unconventional approach? So if we now go back to the Buddha's teachings, Buddha did go through great pains to adapt his teachings to different people. So, for example, when Buddha talked about prajna, wisdom, he he explained it in many, many different ways. And also the Buddha will actually adapt based on the situation that he is in. For example, the teachings were conveyed in the local language, and he used familiar imagery and metaphors. So the examples that he used, the approach that he uses was something very familiar. Again, this is the Buddha's skillful means by using something that the students, the disciples are already familiar with, so that they can very quickly grasp the ideas or the concepts behind. And again, if you look at the Buddha's teachings, sometimes, question and answer, the dialogues that he has, very often, Buddha also accepts the questioner's opening propositions, and he will enter the discussions on their terms, not on Buddha's terms. So this is an exact way of how Buddha actually approach the questions that the students pose to him, right? So conventional, unconventional, I think over here, if we look at the Buddha's teaching, if we only focuses on the teachings itself, okay, very often we may oversee how skillful Buddha was. All right. So actually, I must say, Buddha's way of teachings, or Buddha's way of approaching questions, or especially questions, is actually very, very what we call very, very real time. Okay, very real time. And Buddha was able to use what we call the teachable moments to, to impart or to give a very particular teaching so that it can become very impactful and people can remember it well. Now, again, what exactly is a skillful means? I'm going to quote from this Mahayana text called the Lotus Sutta. Lotus Sutta it talks a lot about the skillful means, and one of the parables that was mentioned was this. So it says here, there's this huge mansion, a huge house. There are many, many rooms in it. However, there's only one entrance, one door to go in and to exit. There's only one. There are not many exits, just one exit. So a fire broke out. The father managed to get out from the house. However, his children are still inside. And they were very busy, playing their games, watching the TV, probably, playing on their phone, watching TikToks, engaged in all these worldly pleasures. However, the father saw the fire burning and the children were in danger. So he couldn't enter to save all of them because it is not exactly the wise way. Okay, so he wanted to entice the children to quickly get out from the house. So he uses what the different children are attracted to or they are drawn to. So one kind of gift for the youngest one, another kind for the other child, and another one for a different child. So in short, the whole idea is they got out of the house. Okay, the children all got out of the house. Of course, the children got out of the house not because they understood that there was a fire, not because they understood that they were in danger. They got out of the house because of their greed. They were tempted or drawn to something that they truly like. So, of course, this parable of the mansion on fire, the house, is actually the samsara. Okay, there's only one way out. Okay, and that is really, the mindfulness training. However, it's so difficult, so we have to use other ways. So this is, again, a parable that is used in the Lotus Sutta. Of course, people may question, is this even the right way? Or is there just only one way? So in this teaching, what Buddha applied was actually skillful means to tap on the interest of different individuals, okay, without lying to them, without anything, without compromising on what we call the moral standards. He managed to get the children out to the safety eventually, and that is most important. Now, so skillful means, Why is it so beautiful? It's really because of skillful means. That's why, we see so many different kinds of Buddhism, the Mahayana, the Vajrayana, the Theravada, and, within the different traditions, we see different schools, different approaches, and every different technique is actually a skillful mean on its own. And the teachings of the various traditions and all may feel and look different. However, they all have the same goal, and the goal is liberation, right? Is to be free from samsara. So again, Buddha uses an analogy, like an ocean, the water, be it the water on the surface or the water that is deep under where it doesn't even see the sun. There's only one taste, and that is salty. So skillful means, although we use very different approaches, different style, but there's only one same purpose. And the purpose is to lead everyone out from suffering. So again, if we're going to use this in the mediation context, the parties involved, they were suffering. Or rather, they are still in this very intense suffering. So a good mediator has to apply the skillful means to lead both, not just one, but both, everyone, out from that very intense emotional upheaval. However, it doesn't mean that skillful means is all good, there's no problem. There are potential dangers. I'm going to quote real examples in our Buddhist community. For example, some of the Buddhist teachers in the Tibetan tradition or the Zen, Mahayana Zen tradition, sometimes the teacher would just hit, or people call them abusing of the students. Or sometimes in Zen Buddhism, they would destroy, the Buddha statues. Of course, this technique, okay, if applied wrongly or applied to the wrong person when the person is not ready, then it may cause confusion, anger, or any other undesired outcomes. So a skillful means requires the person who applies the skillful means to have the very good wisdom to truly understand the situation and able to apply the right amount, be it questioning or talking, so that it can bring or it can bring about the desired outcome that we want to see. Now, also in very recent years, because of skillful means or skillful means as an excuse, there are issues with teachers who abuse their students or take advantage of their devotion, and it leads a lot of very ugly, immoral behaviors within our Buddhist community. So skillful means may be used as an excuse, okay, to for some teachers to engage in something that is immoral or something that is not right. Now, the eventual question is, we can say that, oh, this teacher is very skillful, or this mediator is very skillful. Is he or she truly skillful? Or simply means this person is behaving badly? So this is something that is worth pondering. But of course, despite all this, if we go to sum up what skillful means is, skillful means intention is to engage everyone to lead them away from harm. However, we need to do this in the wise manner. Conventional way is simply just to address a problem, tackle the matter directly. For example, I have a position in mediation context. My position is I want you to compensate me X amount of dollars. Okay, that is a conventional way. Okay, you want this? If I don't want to enter a mediation, I go to the litigation stage. Again, in the eyes of law, they are not going to look at your interest. They're just going to look at who's right and who's wrong, and whether you're entitled to that claim that you want, that you're claiming against the other person. However, ideally, we want to adopt a very unconventional approach, which is to go beyond just the problem at the surface. We want to have a good understanding of the parties involved, resolve the problems, resolve the challenges with skillful means. So again, there's this note. Skillful means is an unconventional approach used by enlightened minds to lead someone away from harm safely. Now, standards. Now we understand that the whole context of, there may be chances that people abuse skillful means or use skillful means as an excuse to behave in a certain manner. So in order to avoid that, in order to prevent people from behaving badly, we need to set the standards. These standards are somewhat similar to Sila, the precepts in Buddhism. They are there to tell us very specifically what are the things that we can do and cannot do. It is not there to make life difficult for us. They are there to prevent us getting into troubles. So the importance of setting up the right standards is because a person who wants to apply skillful means must also be wise enough not to let himself or herself be caught in this web, and worse still, not only he or she is not able to lead the parties out from that tension, he or she actually got himself involved as well. To do this, the person who applies skillful means needs to have a very good understanding of the cause and effect. So if this is in the legal system, then the person needs to have a very good and deep understanding of the law in order not to get any parties, including ourselves, to be triangulated in this situation. So I'm going to talk very briefly about standards. Now, standards is, again, setting up parameters. For example, in the mediation context, there are parameters set. For example, mediation must be a voluntary process. It is also taught to us that mediation must the mediation itself and the outcome must remain confidential. The mediator must be a neutral person. The mediator has no power to decide the case. The mediator facilitates and the mediator aims to resolve the disputes amicably. So there are parameters that are set. A mediator are not going to enter the mediation room and assume that he or she is going to be there to save the world. No. So there are some parameters that are set up. This is to ensure that the whole process can be done, in the right way so that we can achieve the most desired outcomes. And of course, with the standards put in place, like voluntary process confidentiality as well, it will avoid triangulations. So mediator, they only controls the process, they do not control the outcome. The outcome is to be determined by the parties involved. In this way, the mediator, because he is a neutral person with no power to decide the case, he cannot be called, to the court of law, for example, giving wrong advice, blah 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 blah. So again, it provides a very safe parameters for everyone to stay safe, so that no one will be caught in this situation and eventually leads to a lot of ugliness, which no one wanted, right? So standards are important. So setting standards, why is it very important? So if you look again, it allows clarity. It makes it very clear. For example, the mediator must be neutral. If the mediator, is somehow related to one of the parties, he or she must step out from this mediation room altogether. So it provides clarity and consistency. And because of these standards, it gives very clear standards of conduct. What are the things you cannot do and what are the things that you can do during this process? And because everyone is so clear on how I should conduct myself, the whole relationship can improve. And because of the standards that is set, there is accountability, there is responsibility, especially towards the end when there's this agreement that has been written. It is accountable. It is the parties involved are responsible. And also, when we set standards, it allows everyone to mitigate the risks. We are able to see what are the potential risks that may arise from this process, and we can quickly think of ways to avoid them altogether. So in short, everyone can do this in a safe and reliable manner. Of course, in the case of mediation, mediators, they are representing, especially when it comes to, anything that is legal, there are regulatory compliance. So with the right standards, with the right standards set in place, it prevents the mediator from getting himself or herself their feet wet. They will not get themselves in that very sticky, unnecessary situations. And of course, with the standards set, it allows equity and fairness. And yet at the same time, it allows people to collaborate because we have a common framework of understanding, a common framework of communication and exchange, and that will be quite clear and easy for everyone. So whatever we discuss, we have to confine ourselves just within this scope. So in short, the importance of setting up these standards is it provides a safe, fair setting for all parties involved, and it provides indemnity to the mediator. Now, then application. Well, there is really no one way of, or this is how you train, your skillful means. Like, for example, when we talk about sati, there's very clear instructions. However, in the skillful means training, there is really no one way. All right. But regardless, okay, the skillful means requires us to come up with very creative ways to find out what is the underlying issues beyond just this surface phenomena. So we need to have the wisdom. All right. So in the practice, we need to have the wisdom to be able to separate Namarupa, for example. And yet at the same time, in our Vipassana training, we are taught to be an observer, not an actor, which also, again, applicable, when we apply skillful means. Because we are there, we want to see, we're not going to get ourselves emotionally involved. So it is important that, with this mindset, okay, we enter this dispute resolution process, and yet at the same time, the qualities that a Buddhist should embody, like compassion, we need to still shower this compassion and wisdom accordingly. So in short, skillful means must be used very carefully. In order for us to do that, because we are not enlightened yet, we need to therefore have very clear objectives in mind. So clarity on the objectives, as well as the established ground rules, that is the standards. Only then we can apply conventional or unconventional approaches with care. So for a very new or for a beginner, we may not have the experiences. That is where we start to build and start to train ourselves. And it's actually, again, over time, when with practice, we become more and more skillful in that sense. So skillful means must also not be used as an excuse for breaking away from the fundamental good, and it must never deviate from the objectives. And skillful means, again, is a reminder, is actually to be used by the enlightened beings. In the Mahayana Buddhism context, is actually the bodhisattvas who firmly believe in karma. There is consequence for whatever actions we do. Okay, and because of this, skillful means must be applied, bearing in mind that it must never inflict pain, big or small, to any other sentient beings. And that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Kun Dennis Ong. I think your topic is very interesting, and I try to learn from your substance of your presentation today. And last night, I tried to make me clear about your concept. And I think that you are very uh, you can classify the content of the mediation as you learn from Ajahn Nityaphum to produce the new thing of content. For example, you begin at the commonality of Buddhist teachings and related to everyone in everyday life, and you make your approach, the approach conventional way and unconventional way. And as I learned from you before going to the other student, your good friend, to share their opinion, I like the way you talk about the conventional way and unconventional way. And then when, in my opinion, when we have a look, according to Ajahn Nityaphum taught us about the approach in interest-based mediation. You see that in the 7 elements of interest-based mediation. You mean that, I don't know, I think that you mean that this 7 element interest-based mediation, we can get to the point to solve the problem, in my opinion, with the communication. You see that the communication is so important, active listening, something like that. When we make the right way of the communication, then we can get we know about the interest, we know about what hiding in the word that the two parties said. So the communication, both words and body language, I think, in my opinion, it should be used skillful means, right?
That's right.
We must use skillful mean. The skillful mean that I have heard a lot from you to talk about the skillful mean, and I try to think about the Buddha teachings, in many story of the skillful mean. As in my opinion, it's some kind, maybe in the QUÍC, you know about the QUÍC story about her son died, and he cannot accept her son die. He go to everywhere to make her son alive again. And then the Buddha said, "Oh, you go to another person or another village or another home to ask them that no one die at the home, at the village or not. In the just like grandfather, mother, just no one can give her the seed. I not know what is the seed of some kind of. So this is just like a skillful mean. Then QUÍC understand that everything is under the 3 characteristics of the suffering, anicca, dukkha, and anatta. And then I think it's very important. So you open my mind as well about the skillful mean, and so I like the parable of mission of fire that you talk about, the Lotus Sutra. You see that is so I'm not sure. So when I am father, I have children, so sometimes I use like a skillful means like this as well. Maybe I should like but you emphasize that is it the right way to do this? Is it not the wrong way? Samma Ditti is the same thing, and the same thing is Samma Ditti. Is a skillful means is Samma Ditti. So how to solve the problem so we can use the skillful means. And you think that skillful means have the negative result, in your opinion?
Yes,
Maybe.
So sometimes, people will use this as an excuse. Oh, I actually did that because, it's just a skillful mean to help the person understand. But that's why I said, there are dangers. Some people actually behave badly and they use skillful means as an excuse.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that Venerable, who will share your opinion?
I will do the next one, Xiaojun. I will do the next one.
Okay, you will make your presentation, the next one?
Yeah.
Or you want to share your opinion?
Yes.
I will share my PowerPoint. Oh, yeah. You're going to see talk about it. Okay. No, not me. Okay.
Okay, the one share.
I know Dan is always.
You will the next one to make. Sorry. You will the next one to make your presentation, but I think it can be integrated with this presentation. Your presentation is very interesting as well. Okay, you want to make your presentation right now?
Yeah.
I think that. Okay. Thank you. Please, thank you very much. I think that Dennis Ong is very great thing. Okay, right now we come to you. Please make your presentation. Please.
Okay, sorry, Dennis. I push into it. Yeah, because before we get into another room with Obasa, Rose, and then we miss.
I know that. So it's interesting, all of you. The topic is interesting.
We all get it. We get into it.
Yeah.
So today I'm going to do the presentations about how to be a mediator, because we always do want to do the conflict resolution, but which way for a meditator gonna be? You must be in the middle, but how to be a middle person, like a meditator? So this is what I think about it. So I get into and I try to think the same people, because we always be a meditator for ourselves, and then from outside inside to feed others. So I start to do this page, try to explain how to find the one way is be a middle person, like a meditator. Okay, I'm gonna start. This is the topic: meditate from outside to inner. How to be it? There's a empathy and a mindfulness based on Hosa. So I will start the first page, just like we already know. For all of our memory or dangerous things, suddenly, if there, our memory will be get into it, because this page we will know it's not only come from one thing. It's actually a lot of things come from inside of a memory. The memory will tell you there is spider. Some dangers come from the memory of there. So this is we already know something there, and then we try to put we are in the middle is so difficult, because our memory already give you the way to stay. This is too difficult to renew that one. But how could we renew that one? This is what we learn, and from the 4 foundation of mindfulness, to look at the number 3, the mindfulness of mind, observe the thought, and try to find out how to raise up a new thing. And what's that new? So we always can see what's the old one. Yeah, we will know what are the old way. The older way we already have, because for the always conflict things come over, we always use morality. We use morality to find out, or we use the rule like a law. We try to make the left, right, or something wrong, something right. But that's not what we want to be in the middle, because in the middle doesn't matter this thing is wrong or right. We need to find out inside of our position, be a meditator, is no right, no wrong. We try to build something new. We know the course will be see something right, something wrong, but we need to fix is 2 person or 2 problems thing inside of their person's friendship. Make them find out the kindness or different way to fix their hurt, stress, or something. So this is what I try to learn from the rule, from law, to see, oh, where's the energy come from? Because energy is not from picture, they are signal. So next one, we will see the picture will become a coordinator act. This is just like a mathematics, but that one will be make some information inside of your mind. That is real. This is not only like a red light, blue light, and that if you close your eyes, so many of the information already have the energy. So that is called experience. This is just also like when I show you the first page, we saw the spider. We try to find out the experience where they come from, and then we try to change it. We try to understand two person, they have this, if they have something between there is something we can change. So here is the two person, A and B. If they talk each other, just like we talk with you guys, or with you talk with your classmate or family or something, you always can find something in the middle. If something in the middle, that information will become C, right? So if C is between A and B, so that's could become one part of inside of my information, or one part of my signal, or one part of my rule, or one part of my morality, or one part of my background of something. So that can be changed. So we focus on the AB, the C. So the C, they have a name. We call it in between. If we can find in between, and then we will create a C. So the C is create. Something could be new one. It's what we can find out, what we have the different with another. Others, even others like people, others like robotic, others like animal, others like, animals. So we always can find out, we can get into others, into our mind to change the experience. That called it create the C, the part. I found out the what's the bridge? It's empathy. The empathy is not only motion. The empathy is the bridge to between you with others. And that kind of signal is because we have the C. The C actually, they before even I don't talk with you, the C already there, because I have the feeling inside of there, have the experience to see. When I saw something, I happy, my face is happy. I sad, I can see my tears, or my arm, animals, angry or something. That's outside of something. If I see it, I know the apathy comes. I can understand you because you have that signal, and that match my signal, and that empathy will become. So if apathy could be the like a mathematic, the information comes, the bridge will bring the energy. If bring the energy will be change others, will be change conflict inside of your experience or stress or feelings. Because everybody can understand, we can find out this is our meditator need to do the between, fix two sides of a hurt, stressful, how to be between. What's the between can make some created a new one that can get our picture together. So empathy can bridge both different ways. Now we will know, and we will put 1 minute to think about it. If you already know there is something can create, we're going to use empathy to create and bridge different problem, different way, angry or stressful, but how to build the empathy. I'm going to give whole classmate 1 minute to do the meditation, 1 minute to find out, look at the inside. If you're going to build something, create something, how could you use what we learned from Buddha to create a new seed? Okay, we will know all of the feeling come from family. We know the whole family from parents. We know they feed us. We know all of us will be growing, hurt, growing, and then find out we will have the work, job, everything. We will be communicate with person. Somebody maybe don't understand because they don't have a chance to talk with you. So if we have a chance to talk, what position you going to be? We appreciate. We need to appreciate each other. Actually, if somebody in front of you, there is some reason they come. So I want to build some bigger than that because I have the relationship with all of our classmates. I can learn from all of them. I learn from Jatila, Obasa. I learn their way because they close to the Buddha. I learn from their experience, their view, because their view is different. And also I learn from book, from the different way of show you the picture of emotions. Here's the big of the emotions, the model, the pictures, what they show us. But they give you the link to see how to from one to go another one, how to from enjoying to go to angry, how to from angry to become friends. So there is energy between, not only from a picture. So how to make energy build inside and flow each other, we have our experience already. But we're going to find out why and what is that. We try to don't use morality, don't use law, because we are meditator. We are not a judge. We don't want to see something wrong or right. We're going to build people's heart, fix they are kindness, they appreciate. We're going to build the sound inside of there. So we try to look inside of our meditation. What is that? So this is when I do the meditation to make a picture, try to explain your view with my view, with all of the people have the same picture. So when you saw this picture, we will see inside because I put this eye on our right side there. I put this eye is inside of eye. It's not outside. Outside of eye, we only see the trees, mountains, or something. But this eye is inside. You can see inside. So this is mindfulness. If we see something inside the event, it is the candle, right? Every event, there behind of there, we will see their thought. If their thought behind of there, they will be get the shadow. So the shadow, I call that one intention. But a very important part, it is which one can change, which one cannot change. Event already there, their intention already there. And how could you see that one? And we only can see the background can change it. If we put the law over the background, the intention different. The shadow is different because the ruler is different. The morality, if become the background, the shadow will be changing. So I follow this way, start to push in front of and deeper, we will see different experience will be follow. We will see something get clear. If you see this picture, I'd like to give you 1 more minute. We try to get it together. Use meditation again. I use this skill to put your mind with my mind, with all of class mind together. So please close your eyes and give us 1 minute to get meditation again. Ah, yeah, thank you to give us the 1 minute. I only have 3 times 1 minute, so this is second one. I just want to push you when you get a peaceful, quiet, you know you can change the background. But the next step is what kind of background you want to put into it. That is a big challenge, big challenge. So we will see another page. Because when we put the background, if we see the B changing, A is you, B is changing. B sometimes is an individual person. B sometimes is put you into a society. The background changes. And then the C definitely changes. Which way you feel comfortable? And then it put you into the nature. And then C also changes. Which way you feel comfortable? Which one you wanted? And between different way, definitely there is something they want to tell us. So if we go bigger and bigger, we will see they always want to get into it. If they get into individual, they want to friend of the people. If they want to get a society, they want to success with the whole people. They want to share their knowledge, their successful. They want to help. They not want to just get a killer or get a benefit or something. They want to defense, but most of them they also want to have their show their goodness, theirs, awareness or something. If go nature there, you just with everything together. How become that big heart? If that come out, where's the conflict? And give that feeling share to people, share to the between problem of two persons. If we be a meditator, we try to give them this kind of feeling, make them have the bigger heart, the kindness out of from their background. So background is very important. How to find a background? It is we can change before it's very stressful or only have one way. And now it can become happy, a little bit change a little bit because we have to communicate, because we have a different way of thinking, but we still want to find out what kind of background between both of us. There will be good because the Buddha's words tell us, yeah, we are no self. This is very difficult to make everybody understand no self. So this is too early to put nothing there, right? So we try to find something easy way. Yeah, everybody understand impermanence. And then we try to find something could build between before nothing. And then we can understand because we need to talk. We need to understand each other. And then we will from meditation, we do the meditation, try to find out the 1, 2, 3, 4 foundation of mindfulness, right? We learn everything, and now we know how to know everything. It is nothing there, but we try to build another thing. But if we try to build, that's the difficult. Then you find out nothing. So we try to build. There is one is we can make everything handle. We can make this thing become our background. And then we can see the candle with shadow with background. Because this background is meditator should have. It's not from law. It's not from morality. This is come from the nature of the Buddha's, the big view, the Hosa. Because this one could growing. This is a growing, the Sampadana. This is growing, changing. And also this one doesn't give the people said, oh, this is a good one. No, they will say, if you change it, if you from a little bit change to the better way over there, that is good. You can see you always change it. Yeah, that is what we wanted. That is the flow. This is what we flow. Our body is nothing there. We like water flow to the sea. If you see you flow, yeah, you have the chance to get into the sea. And then I think that is what we don't focus on just the problem, the spot of over there. We try to make the people, all three of us together to find out our targeted thing. I understand you. I have empathy with you. I always put my good heart with you to give you awareness to find out the life the right way, to get into the Sampadana, make the background, and then we will know how to resilience. Which one we need to do the resilience? Which one just relax? We don't need to say, yeah, this one is mine. This one I cannot release. We know we should keep it inside, not outside everything. We will know our meditator position where we give the people very sunshine kind of energy to share, to make us find out the Buddha's way. The life could be get closer, because the life is like a mirror. We don't know which one is real. We will find out our inside, and from inside, and then to give us the life compass, the value, if value is maybe matched with our background, I think everything will be changed. Even I learned from me. After I get into IBSC, I change a lot. So I trust, I believe, I use this one. I just need to do the research, more deeper research to find the model, and then make another presentation. Though I try to make a dissertation, and then make the better research to find out. Oh, this is a whole thing can show all of our classes. Today I just get a little bit part to find out if we want to be a meditator, how to put our position. I use my research. I use this model. This model comes from the Buddha's wholesome race, and then also have the MBSR. Yesterday, our classmate Kenya already taught about MBSR. So this is a good one to make the stressful reduce. So we will find out. We find out whole thing, the wholesome array. We will find out we build something. So follow the time. We definitely can see the beauty. We will see the nature gonna make us try to do something. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna build? What are we going to be a helper to follow the Buddha step to do it? This is what I share for today with all of our classmates. I will give the last minutes with all of you, with me and with Ajahn together, get the last 1 minute to enjoy our life. Okay, Ajahn, I finished my report. Thank you very much. Thanks all of the classmates. Thank you, Jatila, Obasa, all of our classmates.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Xiao Chundong, your presentation is very meaningful and very fruitful for all of us to practice. And you emphasize about the empathy, mindfulness, and you explain empathy. And I think, only in my opinion, the picture of brain, the amygdala. You see the amygdala. But I can't remember at the last time I learned from the class. Amygdala is so we when we practice meditation, we can improve amygdala. You mean that?
Mm-hmm.
When we practice meditation more and more, so we can gain empathy. We not fear anything because we improve amygdala. I am not sure. This picture can help me. Amygdala is we can improve it.
Yeah, we can prove it because
we can improve it.
Yeah, if you already know something there, even you close your eyes. Even you close your eyes. If I see snake, you will jump because you didn't see it, but you already have that experience picture inside. So that's I call it already there. There is seed can change it. There is created some seed we can change it.
Oh, I will try it because sometimes I afraid of maybe like a spider as well, and then whenever I fear everything, I think I must learn more and make practice mindfulness more to understand it. So
Yeah,
it is just only
meditation always can change, get deeper. Our memory will be older from because we know there is just the word. If we saw the rope, we think, yeah, that is a snake because inside of there you scared. If you make that page open and then find out that there it is nothing there. If you saw the snake, it's not that very difficult. Snake never like that dangerous. You never bet for the snake, and then you will release that scare. Right? You were friendly to the snake because the snake around of you, if you don't hurt that, you don't want to hurt it, the peace will be there.
Yeah, thank you very much. And
yeah, we create.
Yeah, thank you very much. To try it. And anyone has some question? No? I think that if no one, I think we should have the break 10 minutes, please. 10 minutes, and we will come to Kun Rose will make presentation.
Yes, have a break. I'll be the 10 next minutes, one. Please. Thank you.
Yes. You.
Thank you, Shajungu.
Yeah,
we should take a break 10 minutes and we'll be back.
Yeah, 10 minutes, okay. After we come back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And firstly, I thank all my previous classmates first of giving me a lot of theories and their thoughts about mediation. So, and they have really covering many things about mediation already. So today, I would like to talk about mediation in very different aspect. So, so we often thought of that mediation is about helping the others. We negotiating between two sides, resolving arguments, building peace. So, but have you ever noticed that most of the difficult conflicts often happens here inside ourselves? So today, I invite you all to shift the lens from being a mediator out there to becoming your own mediator within. So let's go to the next slide. So why we need a new understanding of mediation? So let me ask you, have you ever had a full-blown argument in your mind before anything even happens? Something like we rehearse what someone might say, how we will respond, and maybe how we will win. That's inner conflict. Like before I'm doing my presentation today, I conflict with myself. I rehearse or how the Ajahn will feel about my presentation, how my classmates might be feeling with my my presentation, sorry. So everything is inside us. We fight with guilt, doubt, pride, fear. And when we don't resolve that inside, we'll bring it into our families, to our work and our relationships. So what if the most powerful form of mediation, inside external, but internal? So today I want to our own inner mediator so we can show up for others with more presence and peace. The invisible conflicts ourselves versus ourselves. Sometimes we wear a smile, but inside there's a storm. That storm might be shame, anger, impatience. And we avoid with it. We scroll, distract, overwork, but what we avoid doesn't appear. It becomes the tone in our voice, the coolness in our silence. This is the invisible wall inside, and what where self-mediation begins. So when right now, I got a wall inside me. I might look very peaceful outside doing my PPT here, but inside perhaps I have a lot of anxieties inside. So what? So how my what I'm trying to say is that we have to mediate with ourselves. So what does he mean by to mediate ourselves? It means holding space for the complex voices inside. The part of you that wants to let go and the part that still clings, the part that longs for peace and the part that afraid to forgive. So ask yourself, what is really happening in me right now? Where am I not yet at peace? Nothing. So like for example, right now, actually, I'm a little bit nervous. So I have to talk to myself. What am I afraid of? So right now we can have a small practice of we can name this in the first act of inner compassion. So the Buddhist foundation, self-observation. In Buddhism, we start with the mind not to fix it, but to observe it. Vipassana means insight, seeing clearly. Sati means mindfulness, being present. And Citta, bhavana, is the cultivation of the heart. So imagine your heart is a garden. Every moment of observation is like pulling a weed. Every breath is watering kindness. This is not theory that I'm talking about today. It's a daily practice, a way to respond to pain without panic and to thoughts without judgments. So how can we practice this inner mediation? We can have few steps to go with. So first one, listening to yourself first. We've all been trained to listen to the others, but how often do we really listen inwardly? Pause now. What's alive in you at this very moment? What emotion is sitting just under the surface? When we listen deeply to our fear, to our tension, even to our joy, we stop running. That pause is a kind of inner meditation. So I use a word from the Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh says, when the mind listens, the world softens. Secondly, the next skill is to holding inner dialogue. Sometimes the anger in us just wants to be heard, not judged, just heard. So we can try this practice. Talk to your emotion. Anger, what are you protecting? Shame, where did you come from? So the Buddha teaches us not to suppress, but to observe gently with compassion. That's how nonviolent communication begins with the self. Skill 3, responding, not reacting. So the Buddha once said, hatred does not ease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal law. We don't need to react to every thought, every emotion doesn't need to become a behavior. The practice is very simple. We just observe, we feel it, then we choose. Every pause between emotions and reaction is an act of inner peace. So I have sort of created a 3-minute inner mediation practice. So we can try it together. We can close your eyes right now just for a few seconds. Silently name 3 emotions you're feeling right now. Ask which is the loudest. Then place your hand on your heart. Take 3 slow breaths into that emotion, slightly saying, I see you. You're allowed to be here. This is self-mediation, not fixing it, but just listening. So why comes first? Because we cannot pour from empty cup. If we try to mediate for others while holding unresolved pain, we project that pain outward as control, as frustration, or as silence. But when we have done the work of self-reflection, of breathing with our shadow, we enter conflicts not just as just, but as a stable presence. And presence heals more than solution ever can. That means if we have not clear with our inner emotions, how can we mediate for the others? So to make this more clear, I have choose a very powerful short stories from the Buddha's teaching from a Bali canon that I want to share with all of you today. I don't know whether you have heard of the story of Angulimala. It's the person, a killer, that who has been killing so many people, but then turned to Arahant. So let me share these stories with you. In Bali, it's from the Angulimala Sutta. So Angulimala was not always a killer. When he was born, he got a name. I mean, his given name. It's called Ahimasaka. This means harmless. And ironically, later on, he became a killer. So what is this angry mala means? Angry, it's finger. Mala, it's like this, the things that we, a necklace. So he got sort of like misleading by his teacher and classmates. So his teacher has been like telling him that he has to be killing people to get enlightenment. So he got misleading. Then he became a killer. So his teacher is asking him to sort of like kill 1,000 people to get enlightenment. So he keep killing. Each time he kill, he will chop down the finger to make it as a mala. So he has killed 999 people. And comes to the last person. Then he saw a monk walking over there. So that is the 1,000th victim that he's trying to kill. So he saw a monk, and it was Buddha. So Angulimala ran at him with his weapon, shouting, "Hey, stop, monk!" But the Buddha simply replied, "Titami Angulimala, Duam Pana Tita." What that means is that I have stopped, Angulimala, you have not. Then Angulimala was stunned. The Buddha wasn't talking about feet. He means, I have stopped harming. I have stopped reacting. I have stopped running from myself, but you are still running. In that moment, Angulimala saw clearly for the first time that he dropped his weapon, fell to his knee, and asked to become a monk. So the Sangha hesitated, but the Buddha still accepted him. Through years of meditation and hardship, Angulimala transformed. He endured the hatred of the people he once hurt. He remained silent, reflective, sincere, and eventually he became an arahant, a fully awakened being. Then the Buddha later saying that he who once killed now carries no weapon. He who once brought fear now brings peace. And that is what it truly means to mediate. Not to punish, but to stop the cycle of violence by stop within. But the story of Angulimala is not just about a killer, it's about all of us. We were all born like Ahimsaka, with a name that means harmless, and a heart that is soft, open, and sincere. But along the way, we learn things that aren't true. We get hurt, we believe we are not enough, we carry shame, pride, fear, and we become something we never intended. Just like Angulimala, we start running from people, from pain, from ourselves. And yet, when we meet a moment of truth, like when the Buddha said, I have stopped, you have not, we realize we too can stop. We too can practice. We too can return to that original clarity. So it's like the step of Ahimsaka, Angulimala, and Arahant. It's a path we all walk. If from innocent, then we go to confusion, awaken, then liberation. And that, my friend, is what it means to be your own mediator. So I leave you with this invitation. Before you mediate between others, breathe with yourself on discomfort. Before you solve someone else's tension, soften your own. Your first case to become a mediator, your first battlefield, your first peace therapy out there, treaty. So I will use the word of Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh to remind us at the end of my presentation. Peace in oneself, peace in the world. Thank you.
Thank you
Finish
very
my
much, Kun Ron.
presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You give me a new paradigm about you thought we need a new understanding of mediation. I think it's very interesting and it's very benefit to me and to our good friends as well. And so it means that I think that all of us know that when we conducting mediation or negotiation, first of all, we should mediate ourselves firstly. We should mediate ourselves, stay to gain mindfulness, And I every time when I will make some kind of a mediation, so I use this means as well to make a meditation firstly, and it's very great for your presentation, and you give the like a nutshell of the skill. One is the listening to yourself. The second skill is the holding in the dialogue to ourselves. I learned from you at the last skill, you responding, not reacting. It's very, very clear. It's very clear. And when we practice mediation and we try 3 minutes in the mediation and try to find out what the most important, loudest in our mind. You sometimes maybe I have a little bit maybe some kind of angry maybe, because angry when I drive along the street, I see some car come over me just like very fast, so I get angry. So I try to make my meditation, and so I think that you set into the slide 9, 3 minutes in the meditation in the mediation, and let it rest. And you think let it rest? I'm not sure it's a let it go or I think let it rest is to calm down. If you mean that.
Let it rest means that let your anger or your anxiety or your emotions to rest down. It's not let it go. It's just let it be there. Just be. And actually, I also want to stress the powerful of Buddha, that he actually didn't tell Angulimala to stop killing. He just be present. When he was there, that he already, because of his calmness, because of his peaceful presence, he already make someone else's to stop. It's the most powerful mediation that I think it's ever had. Like us, we will use skills. We use what do you call? We use our knowledge, our skills to mediate with people. We use a lot of theories. We use a lot of practice or whatever. But when Buddha was there, he didn't do anything. When he was there, it's because his inside, his inward was powerful enough that can change someone by not saying anything. So what I think that rest, it means just let it there, not sort of let it go. Yeah, just there.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. And anyone want to share your opinion about this topic?
I just would like to say that I love your example very much, that you can link the meditations with Buddhism teaching with the Aukliman, and especially on the last piece, let it rest. Love it.
Yes, me too.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? You share your opinion? If no one, I think I would like to say once again, thank you very much, Kunrod, for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And then the last one for today is Venerable Obasa. Venerable Obasa, please make your presentation, please.
Yes. Yes.
Sadhu.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, brother.
Yes, very clear.
Yeah, yes. Today is for our presentation. I made the last one. Before I do my presentations, please listen with mindfulness and relax, because we have listened. We already have listened to 3 presentations. I mean, the last one, when you listen with a happy. So for the first person, Daniel's presentation is about Ubaya Kusala is skillful means from the Buddha's teachings. I can also to present for meditation about Upaya Kusala, what the Buddha used and his teaching. But later, when I start for my presentation, I changed my topics. So today my topic is the complex resolution from Buddha's DHAMMA with reference to Kudatana Sutta. This is my topic for this presentation. As an introduction, as we all know, already all knows, conflicts happen everywhere and every time and every situation. Due to people have different needs and ideas, beliefs. So Buddhism also show that to solve this conflict by using kindness, by cultivating wisdom and peace within ourselves. Like previous persons rules explain that the NLP is very important. Yeah. And as an introduction in Kudatana Sutta, this Sutta is a very great illustration from the Buddha's teaching. In the Buddha's teachings, Buddha explained one complex thought and also gave advice how to solve those complex with faithfully. And by learning these suttas, we can know how Buddha's idea can help us solve conflicts in our societies and in a gentle way. Before I am going to present about Kudatana Sutta as a meditation approach, I am going to present about the root cause of conflict. In Buddhism, conflict because of strong internal disagreements. We don't have enough peace. Those disagreements are cravings and ignorance, wrong views, and pride, manner. These Dhamma, these pains can lead to suffering or conflicts. This is the root cause of conflicts happen from the Buddha's point of view. And the Dhammavadas also mentioned that there's no fire like a passion. There's a nati rahasamo eki. Nobody is like a hatred. Nati dosasamo kaho. No net like a delusion. Nati moha saman salan. No river like a craven. Nati danasama natis. This mention that great delusion are so powerful for us to trust and travel in our mind. And also, these two dhammas leading to suffering. Extensions became complex. This is shown in the Dhammavada. And Buddha's mediator as a quality mentioned that as a mediator, we should have a non-violent communication and also compassion, karuna, wisdom, and empathy, like Jesus explained in his presentations. Empathy also should have as a mediator. And the last one is loving kindness. These things are the most essential quality for mediator, and also to resolve conflicts. Okay, in our daily life, so why happen conflicts? Why we see the conflicts? According to the Kudatana Suttas, in the Kudatana Suttas, there are the Buddhas explain that the root cause of conflicts are because of poverty. The people who are poor and economic injustice, people don't have the justice economic affair. And the last one is social inequalities. These problems became in the Buddha's present time until this present. And then at that time, the Buddha advised that instead of harsh punishments, the king should provide to solve these problems by providing food, stick, corn to the farmer, capital traders, and support government workers. This is the Buddha's advice to solve the poverty and economic injustice and social inequalities. From this, Kutatana Sutta shows that material security and unfair distribution of resources can lead to fear and crime, social conflicts. So if we don't have the material and efficiency and a fair distribution of our resources, it can make social conflicts and also even crime in our daily life. So from the Buddhist point of view, according to Kutatana Sutta, the harmonious peace complex can be solved as the first one. We recite Buddha's quality, and number one is sacrifice is the first step. Know who are of peoples and get rid of corruption, thieves, evil. And practice ethics by observing the 5 precepts to promote ethical development. Finally, the Buddha advised that we have to cultivate meditation and mindfulness. These things first for sustainable peace and harmony in our society, given by the Buddhas according to the Kutatana Sutta. So, as a practice for mediation on Buddhist teachings, as a mediators, we should have adulation and empathy for understanding and suffering of other parties. And we should have non-violent communication because to avoid aggression and foster dialogue based on mutual understanding. And we should have also self-regulation, meditation, and action. We should practice meditation and practically. And the last one is building systematically awareness. This is recognizing systematic cause of a conflict and also interconnected of action. It can get the consequences to transform spiritual conflicts. This is the 4 kinds of strategies according to the Buddha's teaching. So as case studies from the Buddha's time, I would like to present about the Rohini River complex. At the Buddha's time, between Sakyas and Colliers, those two naval planes were on the bank of river, and because of the waters, they nearly became disputes and a fight war because of they don't have enough water for the farmer. So the Buddhas come to the between the Rohit, Sakyas, and Colliers to resolve this complex about water affairs complex. So, and the Buddhas use this mediation methods to reduce complex and Rohini River problems. The first one is understanding the root cause. The Buddhas use firstly listen carefully from both sides, Kolia and Sakyas, why this happened to the world. They talk about their problem because of they don't have enough water, so they nearly fight in war. This is the Buddhas make understanding the root cause, and then the Buddhas emphasize the value of life over water. If they fight two planes or two countries, there are a lot of people were dying. So life is more valuable than water. This is the Buddha's advice then. And then the Buddha encouraged to do conversation and negotiations. The Buddha asked the rulers and the community to talk, to make a negotiation. And then the proposal equal sharing waters to make a share each countries from both sides. And then the transforming complex through spiritual commitment. From this happening, more 50 monks became a monk and also became an arahant. This is the Buddha's transform conflict through spiritual commitments. Finally, the Buddha's resolved these conflicts about the water and became a peace and a social harmony. This is in the presence of the Buddha's time. The Buddha's hamsters make it as mediators between the Sakya and Colliers countries. As my conclusion, from the Buddha's DHAMMA, we can obtain the sustainable peace by practicing, by developing a holistic approach as meet people's basic needs to remove cause of conflict, to remove suffering, or to remove conflict. And I also encourage generosity. This means is dana and ethical behavior to develop morality. And then trying to develop inner peace through meditation. This the Buddha's advice is to get inner peace by taking meditation. The last advice of the Buddha that to cultivate loving kindness and compassion to others. This is the brief main tenets of Buddha's advice for meditations from the Buddha's teachings. Thank you very much for mindful listeners.
Thank you very much, Venerable Obasa. And because of you venerable, and then you raise the Sutta, Kutta Danta Sutta.
Yeah.
I think I learned a lot from you, and I would like to say that I appreciate your presentation, and you explain about the conflict, the meaning of conflict, and you explain about how Kantadana Sutta can be the model to solve the problem. And I would like to share my opinion a little bit about the Kantadana Sutta.
Yeah.
When I read this paper of your presentation, I think that this is it can solve the problem in every society, for example, in country as well, in country as well, or in Thailand as well, because right now we face with the problem of the poverty. You see that this is the samudaya of suffering, in my opinion. Samudaya of suffering is the poverty, economic injustice, and social inequality. Whenever we can solve 1, 2, 3 kinds of problems, so we will make our society happy, sustainable, peaceful society. And according to this sutta, it offers to solve the problem. For example, it is the nirodha, in my opinion, is to providing food. By providing food to end the poverty, seed corn to farmers, capital to traders, support to government workers. Then we know that is every body of the government can be supported by government, by the government, everybody. Then with this kind of Buddha teaching, but right now we choose adapt it to be in the new era, some kinds of new era, or in the present time. Maybe seed corn to farmer is maybe more than this, but at the time in the Buddha era is agriculture society, so it means about the seed corn to farmer. And so the highlight that so when we do like this, I think that if you make the sustainable, peaceful society, and you give me a lot about the root cause of conflict, especially in terms of Buddhism. And so the Rohingya river problem, known as the water war, is the great example showing that Buddha, the Lord Buddha, is a great mediator. And first of all, if we walk in the way that the Lord Buddha solved the problem, so I think it is really we can help society live peaceful. We know the root cause, and so we have the dialogue, negotiation. In my opinion, I think that the Lord Buddha tried to remind the Sakaya. Sakaya and Goliya, I'm not sure. Sakaya and Goliya.
Yes, you are right.
To get the mindfulness, So the Lord Buddha compare about the water and blood, as you know that, and it's more valuable. So it can get the mindfulness. It can mindfulness into the two clans. I think Yes, your presentation is very, very interesting, especially in terms of Buddhist. And when you make your conclusion, it give me the whole picture to understand what you have presented for your presentation today with your conclusion. Thank you. I would like to say thank you very much. I appreciate it. And
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Venerable. And who will share your opinion for this topic of Venerable Obasa? Anyone?
Yes, I will share a little bit because the Buddha used is a mediator about between the conflict and the Sakya and the Kaliya.
Okay, thank you.
There are in the Dhammapada study there are three verses very meaningful. Therefore, and the use of the value we are using or my friend Obasa is very nice in this story happening the time of the Buddha. The Buddha, they are for the two both sides of the audience. The Buddha subject to listen carefully. If you do continuously with the hate, you will become with the harder and harder like this. Therefore, be peaceful and be radiate each other loving kindness. The second or the third paragraph stanza or the essence of the teaching is that the Buddha, you are trying to for the sensual since the basis is based on the finding and the sensual pleasure and the pleasant, displeasant, like this. But in our teaching, the Buddha said, it's for me. I search for always peaceful and making a peaceful action and a peaceful speech and peaceful talk, peaceful contribution or the mindfulness based the quality of the Buddha. The Buddha stopped saying like this. Therefore, I would like to appreciate all of my girlfriend, especially for my friend, dear friend Ovasa, and he mentioned its use as the mediator Buddha between the conflict resolution of the time of the Buddha. This is the beginning of the Mahasamphaya Sutta. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, right. This after conflict resolution, the Buddha said after the Mahasamphaya Sutta. As the present date, the time is on May. Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
You want to give more? Venerable Obasa, or you want to give more? Or no?
Yeah, I have ideas to present this presentation because Ajahn told me if we use the Buddha's teaching and mediations, it will be good. So I find out the Buddha's teachings for mediation. Yeah, so I because of this idea, I'm trying to present about this presentations. And also I find a lot of complex resolution to the Buddha taught on the Tota. Yes, and the Tipitaka.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You come to the right way because you point to the Uttadana Sutta. I know that you have a lot of Buddha teaching to express your knowledge, but you point to this one as it's very beneficial. Yes, to all of us. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, the Venerable. And I think if no one to give any kind of your opinion, I think it's time to finish. I think it's over for today. I would like to say thank you very much, Venerable Oversight, and Kun Seo Chun Dong and Kun Rose and Dennis Ong for your very great presentation today. And I learned a lot from you. You know that, and you are my lecturer as well. Thank you so much. And then
Thank you very much,
please,
Ajahn.
thank you. So please pay, before leaving the class, please pay homage to the triple gem together, please.
Dhamma namasami Subhadipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangha namami.
Thank you for everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you next time.
See you, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.